Okay, everybody, here we go. It's me, Gregory Mannarino. Lovely post-market wrap up on this. What is today? I forget the day. Tuesday, June 27th, 2023. We have a lot to talk about. 2 pages of notes so far. Let's start off with just the basics here. All right, the market is pretty much invincible these days. What else would you expect when you have a rate suppression scheme going on here like we've never seen before in the history of the world. Hi, Lava Girl. Glad to see you here. All my other friends, too. Anyway, so you know how this has been working. It's an incredible thing. No matter what economic news there is, look at crude oil today as an example. Crude fell through the floor today. Why? Because of the threat that the global economy is going to continue to slow down. And of course, crude oil speculators, the first thing they do is dump. Obviously, it's a derivative that's, again, powering the hard asset. Hey, Mitch, thanks. That's what they do. It'll get bought back up. But you can see, look, the world economy today is just gone. Where's the crash? You're witnessing it, dude.com. Just because the market's going up, I have not been calling for a market crash. I haven't in many, 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 many years. The economy is crashing around the world. It's in free fall. That's where the crash is. And if you can't see it, take those blinders off. Every single piece of economic news is miserable. It just doesn't stop. Henceforth, why crude fell through the floor today. We got a warning today from Walgreens. Listen to this. The consumer is weak. They missed pretty much across the board. And they're saying, hey, you know what? The consumer is weak. Like we didn't know that. It's inside of control. How about this one? Playing off of Walgreens here and the fact that the consumer is weak. This chatter about price controls. We've been hearing this for a while now because inflation continues to, outpace everybody except you and I's predictions here. It's an incredible thing. We have more to talk about because we got a warning here from the IMF. And it's not the first time. The IMF has come out multiple times to their credit, warning about how inflation was going to stick around. Anyway, looking back over at this market, like I said, a nice little rally today. The Dow finished up about 0.65%. S&P 500 about 1.15%. NASDAQ was the biggest winner, 1.6-ish, something like that. Cryptocurrencies continuing to get a bit higher here. Gold and silver mixed. You got a little pressure on gold, silver catching a bid. As I said, crude falling to the floor on global slowdown concerns. Duh. Can I please get a duh here? The U.S. dollar on a relative strength basis was weaker today. 10-year yield nudged a little higher here, but we are stuck in a range. And this market, a tight range. And the market seems to be very, very comfortable here. Okay, we'll see where this goes. The debt market, although is in a very high risk area, the market seems to be shrugging that off. Again, it's the promise of easy money. Easy money is going to continue to flow into markets around the world via central banks, via also, our so-called loving, caring leaders who are finding more reasons to pull cash into the now, promising hundreds of billions of dollars to rebuild Ukraine. There's no money to rebuild U.S. infrastructure, which is falling apart, right? But we pay for that. But meanwhile, we're going to rebuild Ukraine. How does that work? Oh, yeah, that's the way it has to work. It's an incredible thing, really. Where's the revolt? Let me tell you what's going to happen here. Thanks again, Mitch. So we're going to be funneling hundreds of billions of dollars to rebuild Ukraine, as here in the United States, we fall apart. And there'll not be an outcry. There'll not be a revolt, a revolution, nothing. So just be ready for that. Let me see here, people. Let's talk about this real quick. So going back to the International Mafia Fund, you know what I'm talking about? So number one, right off the bat, this is what the IMF has to say, that inflation is here and it will stay here for longer. Now that's kind of interesting. What do we hear this morning from the gargoyle? The gargoyle. What is it? What is that thing? All right. Convicted criminal, by the way. It's the truth. You don't believe me? Look it up for yourself. But so the IMF warning about inflation is here. Duh. It will be around longer. Now, going on to say, and this is something they've said several times in the past, food inflation is going to continue to outpace anything else. But meanwhile, all right, today, I don't even remember which station. I flipped through all of them today. Bloomberg, Fox Business, CNBC. I kind of rotate through these things. And they're talking about, again, how inflation is coming down. They're selling another lie, okay? Inflation is not coming down by their own numbers. This is the line. You see, you have to understand how it works. Every one of these propaganda ministry channels gets a script, and they're told what to sell to the people, and they're selling the people another lie that inflation is coming down. Inflation is not coming down. It continues to rise, although they're trying to tell us that the pace of that inflation is rising is slowing. Well, lovely. But if you were to look at real wages, what people are making based against their own numbers with regard to inflation, just not keeping up by a mile, by miles. I mean, this is an incredible thing. Seriously. You like my shirts? Thank you. Thank you. I got a nice collection of these shirts. Anyway, so I want to hear from you. What do you think about, I mean, they're trying to convince us again that inflation is coming down. If that's really the case, then why the talk of possible prices, price controls, price caps? Explain that one to me. You can't make this stuff up. Anyway, it's crazy. That's where we stand today, people. What else would you expect in this kind of an environment? But going back to this market, it doesn't look like anything's going to get in its way, and it won't. When you have this kind of a mechanism in place here, again, it doesn't make sense anymore, the market at all. It's just about easy money, promises of easy money. And with regard to rate hikes, I get a lot of questions about rate hikes. Thanks again, Mitch. We had a pause. The Fed paused. Come next month, I'm not sure what they're going to do just yet, but if I had to just throw this out here, I'm going to say we're going to get a hike, okay, a small hike. And they're preparing the groundwork here. Again, you get the IMF and the gargoyle today. The gargoyle and the IMF saying the same thing. Inflation is high. It's going to stick around. It's going to remain high. Food inflation is, has nowhere to go but worse from here. And then they're citing other things too, obviously, climate change, crop shortages, supply chain issues, and then, of course, unforeseen things like expanding war, which you and I clearly know is going to happen. That's it. Let me see. Let me look at what else I have on my lovely list here. That's pretty much it. Some of my handwriting is so bad, I can't even read it. I'm just like scribbling stuff down throughout the day. With that said, myocarditis. Mandatory. Oh, that's your okay. Yeah, let's not get myocarditis in any form. Okay, we don't want any kind of inflammation of the heart. Generally, it's a bad thing, especially if you're someone like me that gets a little worked up from time to time. Yeah, exactly. Keep swiping them cards, Chet. It's crazy what people are doing to themselves, and I understand. Believe me, I understand the situation here. It's very simple to just what they're doing is they're getting people to mortgage their futures. I want you to think about that. Do you remember several months ago? I mean, this is an incredible phenomenon. They were credit card companies just by a miracle increasing credit lines. Just people weren't even asking, but they were getting increases in their credit lines. And then they realized that unfortunately most people are very, irresponsible. I hate the word. I hate to say that, but it's the truth. Irresponsible with regard to spending. And if you increase someone's credit line from, let's say, 2,000 to 5,000, they're going to max that out. And especially in this kind of an environment. So what they're really doing here is causing people to mortgage whatever future they may have. In other words, we'll allow you to buy this today, but you're going to pay us a lot more down the line. It's a terrible, terrible thing. It's a trap that people get caught into. However, if you check my videos, I did a whole video on how to get out of unsecured debt, step by step by step. I outlined the entire process for you here, and it's not hard to do. But forget about that. Just don't fall through the trap doors that they set for you, for people. And again, it's an unfortunate thing that people. I like to throw cheese. What does that even mean? It's unfortunate that people fall through these trap doors, mortgaging their future, mortgaging themselves, paying multiples on whatever they're buying here. It's awful. It's awful to me. Yes, Alan Greenspan, thanks for being here today. And it is a house of cards. It's a house of cards built on a pool of gasoline. It's going to go off, but not for a while here. What about the Jews, Greg? What about the Jews? I don't hear a complaint from any of them. I hear a lot of complaints from Black Lives Matter and everything else, but nothing from them. So I don't know why you want to bring that up, Taylor. Does it really matter? Honestly, this is just ignorance on these people's part. I can't even believe that I have to deal with this, but okay, whatever. I'm just a working girl. Your name is Mark. Okay, maybe you flip around a little bit. Anyway, that's okay. That's okay. What else can we say? People here, Ocean Gate. What about it? I mean, was it a distraction, a deception? Interesting, wasn't it? I don't know. What can I tell you, people? This whole thing is just so twisted. Everything is, but you know what? Don't matter, because we sit here, we converse, we get through it all. Mitch, thanks again, man. Mitch, you're gone cuckoo, bro. I appreciate it, but Apocalypse Now. You know, I watched that movie recently. I can't say that I liked it very much, especially the ending. It was kind of freaky. Don't you think? Yeah. Cryptos, people, absolutely. Yes. Okay, I don't know how many times I got to say this. I can't. Every time I say that, I get attacked every day that I even mention cryptocurrencies. I'm not telling people to go all in on this stuff. I firmly believe it can't hurt anybody to have a little bit of exposure to this stuff, because you know my take on this. It's very, very simple. Debt market meltdown pushes stocks down, and I mean down, and cash will just move into commodities and cryptocurrencies as well. That's really how I feel about that. Could I be wrong? Absolutely, I could be wrong. And everyone is entitled to their own opinion on this. The crypto space is not for everybody. All right, it's just and people do go overboard on loss. If you're going to go overboard on one thing, what would Greg tell you it should be? One. I'm waiting. Let me see. What would Greg tell you it should be? What's the one thing that Greg says that's the most undervalued on the planet Earth? Come on. Silver. Alan Greenspan. Bing, bing, freaking bing. Exactly. Silver. There you go. Thank you, Ricky. If you're going to go overboard, you got to go overboard on silver here. It's that's just, look, again, this is my opinion too. All right. I happen to love this stuff. I think it's so massively undervalued. Gold is undervalued as well. Commodities in aggregate are undervalued. Thank you, Matthew. Yeah, exactly, Matthew. I agree with you on that. They don't, and that's okay. People, let me say this. When cryptocurrencies first came out, I wasn't sure what to make of it. It took a while for me to even understand the whole space. And even with that, I wouldn't say I'm any kind of hyper expert on it. I just know how cash generally moves through the markets. You get a meltdown of the debt market that'll destroy global stock markets, and cash is just going to move into commodities, and I believe cryptos as well, and beans, which are a commodity quite obviously. Are nude selfies of Loretta considered an asset? No, Chet. I just get nauseated. All right. I literally just got like, I felt like I was going to throw up. Don't do that stuff to me, people. Anyway, people. All right. Look, guys, this video is getting kind of long here. I love being with you guys and girls. You're so fantastic. Is AT&T a good stock to hold long term? Probably not a bad space to be, honestly. I'd rather be in probably an energy producer, something that's going to pay me a nice big fat dividend, something along those lines, something that'll give you exposure to commodities. But that's just my thing here. Anyway, Jamie Dimon and Epstein, yeah, exactly. Isn't it interesting how that whole thing just went away? It's just gone now. JP Morgan pays a fine, and then all of a sudden, Jamie Dimon doesn't have to get pulled to do another deposition. Isn't that incredible? Do you think you or I would be allowed to get away with that? No, I don't think so. I don't think at all. All right, people. Anyway, thank you for being here. Thanks for your support. I know we can do better than 359 on those thumbs up, 361. I appreciate those. Again, you don't know how valuable these are. You want people to see this stuff. Just all it takes is the thumbs up. Honestly, a cyber attack coming, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt anything. You miss Coco's hammer. Coco's sleeping in the other room. I was going to bring him in, but he was looking so cute. He was curled up in this little ball. I just left him there. I just thought he would be better off. All right. That's going to be it, people. Thank you all for being here. All my friends. I love all of you. You're the greatest. I love those little heart things. That's adorable. That is so cute. Mitch, thanks again, man. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate all of you so much. I will see you in the morning. All right. I want to hear from you on these things. Do you think the IMF is trying to scare us, or do you actually believe, well, inflation's got nowhere to go but higher? That's me, but they're admitting that. With regard to possible shortages of food, all this other stuff that's going around here, and they're talking about how food inflation is going to outpace everything. I think that's true. I think that's totally true, because what's the best way to control the population? Starve them. Take away food, take away water. Is oil going higher? Ricky, yes. Crude is going higher. All right. I don't know if it's going lower first on the back of the abysmal economic news that we keep getting. Look, commodities, like I said, crude oil is a commodity. I think it's going much higher down the line. Absolutely here. Look, people, I'm not the guy you should be talking to about prepping. I always talk about Alaska Prepper. I think Alaska Prepper is the right guy to be talking to on this, but I have no doubt at all that the IMF, and this is not their first warning about food shortages here and food inflation, is that this is going to happen. They're going to throw things at us that we don't need. Yes, learn how to grow food as well. Absolutely. Learn to grow your own food. And out here in Vegas, it's a terrible thing, but I'm moving. Most of you know that already. I'm going to give you a little heads up. So I'm leaving this place. I'm not even exactly sure of the date yet, just about maybe a month, 3 weeks or so. And I'm driving across country, so I'll be taking off for a while. I did buy a house in Bradenton, Florida, and that's not going to be done till like November. It's new construction, so I had to rent an Airbnb over there, and I'm going to be over there for a while. I love XRP. I love, yes, I do. Most people know that. All right. Anyway, look, definitely start, I'm not talk to like Alaska Prepper, but it seems like a no-brainer to me that you need to have a stash of food. You need to have a stash of water. Grow your own food if you're able to. I tried to have a little garden out here a couple of years back. Unfortunately, I killed all my plants. Not good. Yeah, price control, food shortage. I mean, this is stuff we've been hearing about, honestly. And I really believe this is going to all happen. So anyway, with that said, people, I'm out of here. All right. Love you a lot. Thanks for being here. I'll see you in the morning. All right. Take care.